shoes. Now I hold me the scene in a home remake, begin the call about style.
Well, this is Teen Range, you the comedy scene. You never saw another judge called Davis.
Bentornati. Welcome back, everyone, and thanks so much for tuning into our program. Festival Italiano di Gian Lombardi, coming to you live right here from Little Italy. So I think it'd be fair to say that most of us here watching the show, most of us here over the years have a shared experience, and that's the immigration experience, the migration experience here in this country. And it's a story that needs to be told, remains to be told, and we need to keep that as those stories tell a history, right? Tell a history of not only them, ourselves, but also this country. And I'm very pleased to welcome two guests, Rocco Maragna, who is an award-winning architect, writer, and storyteller. Rocco is also a fellow of the Royal Architectural Institute of Canada, and he's here as a founder of the Gallery of Human Migration, and joined by Nancy Perin, who has a degree in sociology and the executive director of the Gallery of Migration. Thank you so much for being here today.
Well, thank you for having us,
Yes,
Andrea and Lenny.
Hey, Rocco. So great to see you once again.
Likewise.
And I know the Gallery of Human Migration has been something that you've envisioned for many, many years. And I was doing a little bit of reading, and what really jumped out at me, Rocco, was you state that the most important thing Canada has in the world, that the world needs today, is how multicultural society is created and nurtured. And that really resonates, I think, for Canadians, especially now, with our understanding about the differences between the US and Canada. And I was wondering, what was your initial inspiration for this project?
Well, there's a number of leads that led me to this. The very first one is when I first came to Canada as a little boy with my mother. And although it's a long story, I'll make it very short. For our very first Christmas, we'd barely been here 10 days. And we had nothing. My dad was in crutches. He had had a terrible construction accident. And on Christmas morning, we found an anonymous package at the door where we were living on Mansfield. We lived on Mansfield, our first place. And that package had gifts for my mother, my dad, me, and which I will never forget, because someone heard that we were in those dire straits. And I kept that memory throughout my life. And when I began to travel the world for my architectural business and work, I began to see other people, how they began to consider Canada. They knew of Canada as a multicultural country, and somehow they all wanted to come here, or, if anything, to take what Canada was about, to bring it back home. And so, at some point, I left architecture because I'd done enough work, and I began to consider migration as a human condition, almost like a human right. We have legs, and we have a mind, and as such, we have the right to be whatever we want to be. The fact that we are in Toronto, in Canada, it is a gift.
You know, a lot of times when people talk about what is Canadian identity, sometimes people have a hard time answering that question, right? But what relevance do you think migration within this country has played a part in Canadian identity? How much is that connected?
Well, identity is a very magical word, because each one of us has a different identity than everybody else. We have a local identity, we have a national identity, we have a heritage identity, we have an identity based on who we are, how we think. So over the years, I began to develop my own concept of identity, and I found, because I go back and travel to Italy and travel other parts of the world, I always come back to Canada as a point of departure. And that identity has to do with cohabitation, being able to live together, being able to communicate, and being able to be at peace within our environment, within the community, and within our own mind when we think of who we are.
You know, Rocco, you know, when I think about Canada, I think about the characteristic that really sets us apart is the notion of multiculturalism in this country. And it really has nurtured and become a very important fabric of our society that I personally am very, very proud of. And I think people who choose Canada as a place to live soon learn to appreciate what that really means, freedom. I was fascinated by your 4 stages of migration, the 4 Bs: beckoning, beginning, becoming, and belonging. I mean, those are fabulous headers for like an intellectual thought process about the notion of migration. Could you just illuminate us a little bit?
Absolutely. So when I look at migration, I look at it as a journey. And any journey starts with an idea, a thought, an aspiration, hope. It could be good or bad because somebody's not feeling, they want to stay wherever they want to stay. And it does not mean they want to move, but it means that we have the ability to think.
This is the beckoning.
And this is beckoning. Beginning is you make the move, you arrive. You are in a strange place, no matter who you are, you can have 14 degrees of everything, but when you arrive at a new place, it feels strange. You begin to learn something, so it's arrival. From beginning, you go to becoming. In time, you begin to meet other people, you get a job, you work within a community, and you begin to become part of that place. And finally, it's a belonging. You now, after a while, each one of us feels at home in the new place, but nostalgia sets in. Nostalgia sets in as to where you came from. And you begin to adapt your identity to those forces, where you come from, where you are, and where you want to go. And at that point, it becomes a new beginning.
Beautiful.
Or a new beckoning.
Beautiful,
It's
beautiful
a cycle.
circle.
Yeah, beautiful cycle.
Very
So the Gallery of Human Migration, Nancy, let's talk about that. You're the executive director, but so all of these thinking and thoughts and processes and kind of finding this togetherness with multiculturalism and Canadian identity and the Bs come to the Gallery of Human Migration. Tell us about that and how do our viewers at home participate?
Yes, the Gallery of Human Migration.
Mi sì, parli italiano, sì.
In questo modo posso comprare più parole
Sì.
che in inglese. La Gallery ha l'obiettivo di sottolineare proprio la positività e l'importanza delle storie delle persone che compiono questo viaggio di trasformazione.
Sì.
E praticamente noi abbiamo lanciato la Call of Expression per l'interesse a partecipare a quello che è il premio che la Gallery sta creando per raccontare la propria storia di migrazione.
Quali storie vorresti sentire? What kind of stories? Anything? Tell us.
Sì, è la storia di qualsiasi essere umano. Per esempio, noi per iniziare nel sito abbiamo messo le nostre 2 storie in qualche modo. Per esempio, io ho scritto che io sono arrivata qui da adulta, cioè io sono nata qui da genitori italiani, sono tornata in Italia, quindi sono cresciuta lì, ho studiato lì e poi fatalità, ho incontrato lui e sono tornata qui ed è stato da adulto, per esempio l'esperienza da adulto è differente quando una persona arriva qui da bambino, le motivazioni possono essere diverse, nel mio caso è stato l'amore.
That's a good reason. That's a good reason.
That's
That's always a
very
good
strong
reason.
one.
But that's so what our viewers are gathering, what we want to, is that whatever you like to share, it can be as big as love or as simple as the first snowflake on your face coming into
Absolutely.
Canada. Whatever it is you want to remember those stories to carry them on forever in this virtual gallery.
Yeah.
And I think if you take that as a basis, everybody out there has a story to tell.
Yeah.
It could be
Absolutely.
a niece, a nephew telling a story about a nonna, a nonno.
Yeah.
And those things are important, so participate. Tell your stories, otherwise your memory will be forgotten.
Thank you, Rocco. And how do people do that now? I think you have to make the
So go to
submissions.
our website,
Yeah.
galleryofhumanmigration.org. You will see an expression of interest. Click to that point and fill in the little form, and you'll participate. It's as simple as that.
Well, we know that there are millions of stories.
Millions of stories.
Millions of stories.
You'll have a lot to go through.
And I think many of our viewers, really do feel the immigrant experience. Listening to you, I was imagining my grandfather's decision when he left Pisticci and that journey that he embarked on, and the beckoning and what drove him. So everyone has an important story to tell. And this is an opportunity for everyone to document that story. So I encourage you all, go to the website, click on the submission form, and begin your journey.
Thank you so much to both of you for joining
Thank
us
you.
today. Grazie ancora.
Thank you.
Allora, continuiamo con la musica.